13 years in the pokey?
Into pokey.
And how'd you get there?
Well, started in 1987. I was drunk and high on cocaine one night, picked up a guy hitchhiking, and we got the bright idea to use a gun I had in the truck to hold 2 men at gunpoint. We were arrested shortly thereafter after this big chase from the police down the interstate. They had Interstate 25 just south of Denver, Colorado, completely blocked off. They had a spread eagle in the middle of the interstate. It was totally humiliating. But I was arrested and got 10 years in the penitentiary, served 4.5 and paroled. Got out for about 18 months, hooked up with some guys that I met in the penitentiary because I couldn't really find a job as a convicted felon 9th grade high school dropout. Hooked up with some of those guys, got in trouble again, went back to the penitentiary on gun charges and parole violations. Got out again at 30. Now I'm a 2-time convicted felon, still a 9th grade high school dropout, not many opportunities. And I got a job working for this telemarketing outfit. I should have been suspicious when they hired the likes of me. And everything worked great for about 18 months until one day the feds showed up. And next thing I knew, I was in U.S. federal district court. I thought I knew something about prison and the justice system because of my time in Colorado. But when you walk into a federal courtroom and they read the United States of America versus you, it's a pretty sobering event.
So were you in this kind of a bind before the 3-strike rule?
Well, they actually, if you get a chance to read The Upside of Fear, my crimes, the way they happened, it was kind of crazy because they tried to trigger the habitual criminal. In Colorado, they call it the little bitch and the big bitch. The little bitch is 25 to life. The big bitch is 40 to life. And they tried to hit me with that because when I was doing my federal time, some old crimes came up in Colorado, a kidnapping and a robbery case from this crazy series of events. And they tried to trigger habitual, but they couldn't because of the order the crimes happened in. I was just very, very fortunate with some good lawyering and got a break. And that's why I'm not spending the rest of my life in the penitentiary.
Ultimately, the 3-strike rule, you accidentally didn't get tripped up.
Accidentally avoided it. I was very, very close.
Damn.
Yeah.
So listen, folks, you guys are listening to this guy. He's 1, 2, 3-time felon. How old were you first?
23 years old, 1987.
23, get out at 30. Land yourself right back in there.
Got out at 27, back at 28, out at 30 again, back at 32, out at 40.
And then 40 years old till now. How long's it been?
15 years.
15 years. Now talk about the successes that you accomplished in that short 15 years. Because you know what? There's too many people in this world that they just want to talk about excuses, and especially felons. I know felons did minor shit, but it technically was a felony.
Right.
And so now they're felons. And when I ask them, so what are you doing? What's up? What's going on? What do you got going on? Their answer is, dude, I can't do anything. I'm a felon. No one will hire me. No one will do this. That's a mindset that's rampant. So I want you to talk about what you did when you got out at 40 years old. How did you decide that wasn't going to be your mindset?
Well, I think you got to start with the fact that was my mindset. I remember when I was in my 20s and went to the penitentiary the first 2 times, people would say, why are you in? Why are you here? And I would tell them, I'm here because I'm poor and uneducated. That's what I believed. I wasn't in there for robbery and stealing things and lying and cheating. I was in there in my mind because I was poor and uneducated. Mm-hmm. When I realized that the reason I was in prison was because of how I tried to fix my being poor and uneducated problem, that's what was getting me in trouble. You can be poor and uneducated and not go to prison. I was trying to solve the problems by cheating, stealing, et cetera, et cetera. In that third trip in the penitentiary in 1996, I was 32 years old. I was just starting 7 years in a federal joint, and my father died. And when my dad died, I realized I had to change the course of my life. I had a 3-year-old son that I had fathered when I was out on parole. So I had a dead father, and I had a 3-year-old boy I had abandoned. I had 7 years left to serve in prison, and I said, I'm changing the course of my life.